On episode 8 of the Bits and Bytes podcast, we tally up the results from this past weekend's Splatfest, and WTF Disney, this is your Bits and Bytes podcast. What's up, everyone? I'm Jeff Shelley, and this is your Bits and Bytes podcast. You can reach me on Twitter at Sky_Striker, and so right now I've just been playing a lot of Splatoon 2. Really been enjoying I've been really hooked on it. The grind is a little slow, I feel like, but really been loving it. This past weekend was their big Splatfest. Was not a big fan of it. I did love it, the overall ketchup versus mayo, and how they changed the color of the ink based on if you were Team Ketchup or Team Mayo. Team Mayo was white, and then ketchup was red, but it was like a subdued red, like the color of ketchup. But yeah, just ran into a lot of problems getting into matches sometimes. The first match I played, I got disconnected. Then the second time I tried, I got booted. And it just locked up on a load screen of trying to get into a game. Third time was the charm. I finally did get in. But also experienced a lot of battling other team catch-ups, which sort of takes away from the gimmick and the overall attraction of Splatfest, where you're playing for your team. You're playing for whatever team you selected. In my case, I was Team Ketchup, and would end up playing against other Team Ketchups. As the results were tallied, overall, Team Mayo won. But I don't know how these results worked. Ketchup won the popularity. Ketchup had 78% popularity. And then Mayo lost. But then Mayo won the other two. But I don't get how Mayo won those two. Being that they weren't as much chosen, how did they get to win as many solo matches as they had? Because obviously Team Ketchup would have played more solo matches, being that there was more people representing Team Ketchup. And then the same reason with the team matches. How is there more people playing Team Mayo on that, when overall there was such a big discrepancy? I think it was 78 to 30-some%. So it wasn't even close. And so I'm just wondering how that calculated as if a Team Ketchup beat another Team Ketchup, does that just nullify the whole game as it were? Because it gives Team Ketchup a loss and a win, so it doesn't really equal out overall, giving Team Ketchup more losses because they've been playing more. Just a little bit of mystery here on how that exactly works. But all gripes aside, it was a lot of fun. I do really still love Splatoon. I think I'm level 13 right now. It's sort of a slow go. I gain maybe 2 or 3 levels a week, but I'm not playing a ludicrous amount of time, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours a week, if that. I play, I'd say 2 hours, a good 2 hours a week. So, but I haven't gone into rank battle all that much. I've been just playing the usual turf war. I really like that. I'm basically just grinding, trying to level up my clothes. I'm really getting into the leveling up different pieces of equipment, and then repurposing some of those abilities that I don't like from that equipment, and then trying to re-roll better stats. So I'm starting to get into the nitty-gritty of the game, the really deep stuff, instead of just going in and let's paint a bunch of stuff. No, I'm starting to get into the nitty-gritty of it, and still really enjoying the game. It was a lot deeper. It's a lot deeper than I initially thought it would be, but really loving the game. Sorry, I'm going to sound a little nasally. I've been fighting a cold. That's why we didn't do a podcast last week, is because I had this cold, and then I also had my wife's family reunion was last week. Went up to Somerset, Pennsylvania. Had a really good time there. Basically just drinking and eating and swimming in the pool. So can't really complain about any of that. Really good time. Spent 2 or 3 days up there. I think we left on a Friday morning. But then Thursday night, which my brother-in-law and his girlfriend stayed with us, and so the basement was being used for non-podcast purposes. So I really did have one written for last week, but then something happened to the script where I don't know if it fell out of my car or what on the way home. I just couldn't find it, and then I also felt like crap, and just with the time crunch wasn't able to get it done. Even this one here has been sort of a chore to get done. We're going to visit my mother tomorrow, And then I was off all day today, but I've been spending a lot of time with my son and stuff during the day, so my wife agreed to take him for like 20 or 30 minutes here to let me record this podcast and just get it done and sort of in the can. But hopefully he'll be starting kindergarten this year, so big kindergartner. And so once he starts back to school, I think I'll be able to get much more into a rhythm here, because usually I would record them Friday afternoon after I got off work, because I work like a morning shift, and just made it easier to record the podcast at that time. So hopefully once September rolls around, things will be settling back into the groove that they were before the summer. Just with summer and traveling and family events and, you know, my son being home like all the time, it's been like a lot harder to get things done. But back to what I've been playing. I've been playing Splatoon, so I'm not going to harp about that or talk about that anymore. I liked it. If you read my review, I gave it an 8 out of 10. Friday the 13th, haven't been playing as much as. I like the game, it's just long. Like, I feel like the matches are long, it's long to get into. Like, I really have to be, like, in the mood for Friday the 13th. Like, it's not like my go-to, like, blowing off steam or just coming and being like, oh, I need to play a quick match. Like, usually if I gotta play a quick match of something now, it's gonna be Splatoon 2 or it's gonna be Overwatch. And those are the ones I know I can start a match and get in quick. Actually, I think Splatoon 2's been quicker than Overwatch lately. Just because Overwatch, I think there hasn't been as many people playing. Maybe this week, big summer game started up, so maybe a lot more people haven't gotten in yet to try that. I've been a little busy, but hopefully I'll try that here over the weekend and get to earn some of the new skins. I didn't really see any that I really liked. The Reaper one I thought was cool. The barbecuing Soldier 76 was pretty cool. I mean, I mainly play as like Diva and Bastion, and so the Diva skin was just sort of like it's just sort of Olympic, like from her country type of skin, so it wasn't like anything all that interesting to me, like as some of the other skins she's had. And I don't think Bastion had one at all. I don't know if he has any victory poses or not, but I did get a really cool Dune Buggy skin for him from the last Overwatch event, so that was cool. I'm hoping they do the same thing that they done this year, because they brought back all the old skins as well, and along with the new skins, and then I'm hoping they do the same thing for Halloween, because again, I didn't play Overwatch last year until like late November, so I'm hoping to be able to get some of those Halloween skins that they had from last year, as well as any new ones that they have from this year. So I really got to get on the ball and start playing that. And I think if you have Amazon Prime and Twitch, the Twitch Prime thing this week is you can get like 5 Overwatch loot boxes. So I'm wondering if those are just straight up plain loot boxes, or if they'll be a Summer Games loot box if you cash them in now. I have to test that out, and then I'll let you know on Twitter or something if it works and it's Summer Game loot boxes, and I get some Summer Game items out of those. But still, I have time to test it. I'm not 100% sure if that's how it works or not. The other game I just started playing, like barely scratched the surface. I think I got like 30 minutes in. I had a rough time playing it, not because of the game and any sort of a stretch of the imagination, but mainly because my son wasn't sleeping that night, and so it was like every 5 minutes he was like yelling for me or coming down here for a drink or whatnot. So, and I really couldn't play it because it's a really mature game and deals with a lot of mature themes, and that was Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. From what I played, I really like it. For the first 30 minutes in, I think they handle the not having a tutorial really well. I think the game is designed really well, where it's sort of, and I'm still sort of in that first 30 minutes, being that it's sort of letting you test the waters and see what's what, because it never really tells you like, oh, this button does hit X to climb this, hit X to jump, hit L1 to run, hit R1 to do this. It doesn't. It just says, it starts you off, you're walking, and then it's like, oh, you need to focus. It's like, well, how do I focus? And so you sort of have to play around with the controls and then figure out how to get Senua to focus on this certain item. And so it does add a sort of tension and unease that other games don't have, where they're not hand-holding you and basically just walking you step by step to something. You don't really have that comfort. And plus the audio mix has been really good. If you don't know, she's got I'm trying to think of the word here. Some mental stuff going on where she's hearing voices in her head, and how they handle the mix is I have surround sound here. It's like it sounded okay on my surround sound, like you sort of get it from behind and the left and right and everything. But I heard the really best way is get a pair of headphones and listen to it. Now I didn't have a really good pair of headphones, so I ordered them. They're supposed to be here today, and then I'm going to get back into that. Into the game, because I really wanted to play this with a pair of headphones, because every place I read about said, oh, you really need a pair of headphones for this. But I'm hoping to have that game finished sometime next week, and then have a review up for that. But so far, first cursory look at it, being only 30 minutes in, it's been good. I've been really liking it. So that's been what I've been up to this week. Just a lot of family stuff, and got a good bit of games in. We've been trying to work on a more graphic presentation for our Twitch live streams, and trying to figure out how to do that without having a capture card. And it's kind of been a little difficult with that. Probably going to do some weird stuff. I'm like, well, if I have a separate Twitch account and Twitch stream from there on the PS4, then open that in my web browser, and then load that playout window into OBS. I mean, it would be horribly delayed. Horribly delayed. I think it was a 12-second delay, because I did do it once. And that's how I do my, if you do a Let's Watch or whatever, that's sort of how you do those streams. And I'm tempted to try it again, just because I'm trying to get this nice graphical presentation together. Because just with my PS4, the camera's so far away, there's really nothing to look at. But I think I got a hanging speaker. I'm looking there now. I got a hanging speaker wire sort of down, and it's two closet doors, because that's where the chair is sitting for that. But I really would like to try to spruce that up. I think that would probably go light years away. Plus, it would be nice where I could actually use this mic instead of I have a little lob mic that I bought. It was $10. But I have that's plugged into the controller. So I'm hoping I'm going to do some tests. I don't know if you could hear that. I don't know if my son just jumped or what, but there's a loud bang. I know he wanted to play sword fight, so maybe he talked his mom into sword fighting. But yeah, there was just a really loud bang. And there it is again. So I don't know if he's running laps or jumping or what, but that'll be that noise if you keep hearing it. But anyway, doing some stuff to improve the Twitch streaming and everything, and working. I talked with my brother-in-law's girlfriend a lot. She does illustration and stuff, and trying to talk with her maybe about getting a logo, a proper logo, one that I didn't design, because I can't draw worth anything. But hopefully making some changes here slowly but surely, and heading in a good direction. But anyway, that's going to take us into news now. So this is the news. Going to our WTF Disney story. Disney, in what can be considered a shrewd business move, is taking all of its Disney movies off Netflix. As reported by Bloomberg, Disney is looking to move all its sports and movie content onto two different streaming services. The first streaming service will be an ESPN-branded service that will arrive in 2018. The service will feature 10,000 live sports events a year. This service would be followed by an entertainment service that would be home for new live-action and animated movies, released by Disney and its subsidiary Pixar. Whether this would also include movies from its Star Wars and Marvel business is unclear. I'm not shocked about this overall. I was sort of shocked when the Netflix deal went through for where they were getting movies maybe 2 months out, like Zootopia and Doctor Strange and Rogue One. Disney has always been pretty proprietary about their stuff, where if they can make money off of doing it themselves, they're going to do it themselves. As a Netflix customer, I'm not happy about it, because I like having those movies available on Netflix. My son watches a lot of the Disney Channel shows. It doesn't mention anything about those and the TV stuff, so I don't know if that's going to be included in the deal. I'm hoping it's not. I'm also waiting to see what kind of price point this has. I'd hope it would be comparable to like a Netflix where it's like $10 a month, but at the same time they're talking about new movies. So is it like movies that are currently in the theater you'll have access to and be able to watch them? Because if it's that, then it's going to be up there. Like you might be dealing with like $50 a month or something ridiculous for this service if it's going to play new movies that are just now in theaters, or sort of a pay-as-you-go type of thing where maybe, I mean, this is all debate, maybe you have access to the Disney back library for X amount a month, but let's say Star Wars Episode 8 is out in theaters, and so after a week it gets posted up there for some sort of premium video on demand where you pay like, oh well, you can watch it now once for like $25 or whatever, and so you could pay $25 just to watch it that one time. Why it was still in the theaters, but from the comfort of your own home. This is all speculation. I don't know what Disney's thinking on this. I'm not sure what it'll look like, but I'm sure it'll probably be pretty expensive. Probably if it's going to be in the theater movies. I don't see it being cheap. Overwatch's Summer Games event is now live. Join millions as you play the beloved Lucio Ball and earn new beach skins in the game. Already talked about this. We're just going to roll through to the next story. The next big update for No Man's Sky. Not sure if anybody cares anymore, but there's a new update titled Atlas Rises. It'll add new story improvements to the game as well as add fast travel via portals. I'm in the minority. I actually enjoyed No Man's Sky when it first came out. I played it, I think, for about 2 weeks before it sort of, I don't want to say lost its luster, but I sort of got what I wanted out of the game. I'm not disappointed that I bought it. I got the experience that I thought I would get from it, and I enjoyed my time with that game. I don't see me going back to this in any way, shape, or form. I think it's just how I play games. As I play a game and I get what I want out of it, and then move on. Maybe I'll go back to it at some time. My son really enjoyed watching it. And just seeing like the new species and everything, he really thought that was cool how you could take off from a planet and go up in space. But other than for him to play it with me and anything, I probably wouldn't go back to it. But I did enjoy the game when it came out. New patch to Friday the 13th will be out soon, eliminating the ability to kill your teammates. Thank God. In my limited time playing this game, I don't know how many matches I did, probably like 20 or so. Like I would just be hiding in a closet, and a random camp counselor would come in and just beat the crap out of me with like a baseball bat or a machete, and basically I had to run from him, which then would put me in line with Jason and get killed, or I just let him wail on me and kill me. Yeah, that's not how these games, how any of the Friday the 13th movies worked. So I think it's a good call to remove that. I'm not sure what they were thinking when they left it in there. I don't know if it was like mainly to stop players from just swinging wildly at Jason and hitting other players. Maybe it was supposed to be some deterrent to that, or just to add the fact that the counselors would be sort of clumsy and stuff with these weapons. But I'm glad to see that going, because that really ruined a lot of my experience with the game, just because I would be getting killed by other camp counselors and whatnot. Zen Studios has announced a Universal Classics Pinball Pack. The DLC will include tables for movies E.T., Jaws, and Back to the Future. I haven't seen any of the Back to the Future and Jaws stuff, but they have released a trailer for E.T. The E.T. trailer looks really cool. Looks like it'll transition from day to night, with the night when the room the pinball table's in becoming dark, and you have the lights, and the backdrop turns into the symbolic like moon with the shadow of Elliot and E.T. on the bike riding through it. Just looks really well done. Zen Studios does a great job on these, and I'm really excited to pick these up. Like, I'm really excited for Back to the Future. I love Back to the Future, so that's the one I'm most excited to see. As for your new releases this week, PS4 will see the release of Matterfall from developer Housemarque, Agents of Mayhem releases, Sonic Mania, Nidhogg 2, Undertale, Sudden Strike 4, Observer, City Skylines, and on the 18th, PS4 gets Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma. That's one of those like graphic novel sort of adventure games that you play through. I played through one on the Vita. It was pretty good. Nintendo Switch will see 2 games next week. They're going to see Sonic Mania and Troll and I. So for my pick of the week, I'm just going to pick Matterfall. Housemarque hasn't made a bad game. For those of you that don't know, they made like Super Stardust, Resogun, Alien Nation, Zombie Nation. Just really good dual stick shooters and very arcadey games. Like they really hit that loop of great arcade games and really motivating you to like chase a high score and go after it. I think that's going to be a great game just based on their track record alone. So Matterfall will be my pick of the week. Topic of the show, really didn't have one today. We sort of did the Disney thing, went off a little bit on that, and the Splatoon 2 Splatfest. So that'll count as our topics of the week, mainly because my voice is like going here a little bit. So that's it for your show today. As always, you can check me out on Twitter at Sky_Striker. If you're on Facebook, you can like our Facebook page, Bits and Bytes. If you are on Twitch, please give us a follow at Bits and Bytes on Twitch. And that's it for the weekend. So have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening to the podcast, and see you next time.